Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a pretty radical idea. What if you could actually reboot your pancreas? We're going to look at some absolutely groundbreaking research that suggests fasting might just be the key to regenerating this vital organ. So let's just jump right in with a huge question. What if your own body could reverse a condition like diabetes, which we've always thought of as a one-way street? Not with some fancy new drug, but just by tapping into its own powerful built-in repair manual. To really get why this new research is such a big deal, we have to start with the problem itself. And that problem, well, it all begins in a small but mighty organ that works tirelessly behind the scenes, the pancreas. See, deep inside your pancreas, you've got these microscopic powerhouses called beta cells. Their one job is incredibly important. They produce insulin, which is the hormone that manages our blood sugar. You can think of them like tiny factory workers, absolutely essential for keeping our whole metabolic system running smoothly. So here's the problem in both type 1 and late-stage type 2 diabetes. You start losing these beta cells. The factory basically shuts down. And for the longest time, science has pretty much viewed this as permanent damage. Like, once they're gone for good. But what if that's not actually true? Okay, so now let's switch gears and talk about fasting. And let's be clear, we are not talking about some fad diet here. We're talking about a powerful, ancient survival code that's literally hardwired into our biology. It's a program our bodies know how to run when food isn't around. All right, think about it like this. When we're constantly eating, our body is in what you could call a fed state. There's this key cellular sensor called mTOR that's switched on, and it's telling all our cells to grow, divide, and store energy. But when we fast, our body flips this massive metabolic switch. mTOR gets turned down, and the body shifts from growth mode into a deep repair and maintenance mode. A huge part of this repair mode is a process called autophagy. Honestly, the best way to think of it is as your body's own internal cleanup and recycling crew. It's this amazing process where your cells go around and systematically break down and reuse old, broken, or damaged parts. This cellular spring cleaning is absolutely crucial for what we're about to see next. Okay, let's get to the breakthrough itself. This is where the science gets really exciting, and it all comes from some landmark research out of the University of Southern California that is completely changing how we think about the pancreas. Just listen to this quote from the study's lead researcher, Walter Longo. I mean, wow. They discovered that by cycling periods of fasting and refeeding, they could essentially convince other cells in the pancreas to become insulin-producing cells. It's not just protecting the old ones, it's building new ones. And the results they saw in the lab, they were just stunning. In mice that had diabetes, both type 1 and type 2, this special diet actually led to a remarkable reversal of the disease. Their bodies started producing insulin properly again, and their blood sugar stabilized, even in mice that were in pretty late stages. So you're probably wondering, how on earth did this happen? Well, the researchers used something called a fasting mimicking diet. And these cycles of the diet flipped on a very specific gene called NGN3. Now, what's so special about this gene is that it's usually only active when a pancreas is first being formed in a developing fetus. By switching this gene back on in adult mice, it kickstarted this incredible regenerative process, creating brand new, fully functional beta cells. It's like they found the original factory blueprints and just restarted the assembly line. And this is where it gets even more promising. This isn't just a mouse thing. When the researchers took pancreatic cells from human donors who had type 1 diabetes and put them in a similar fasting-like environment in the lab, they saw that same NGN3 gene switch on, and insulin production started to ramp up. But what's really fascinating here is that the benefits of flipping this metabolic switch might go way beyond just diabetes. It looks like fasting has a much broader protective effect on the pancreas as a whole. Take a painful condition like pancreatitis, for instance. When you fast, you're basically giving the pancreas a much-needed break, what some call pancreatic rest. By turning down that same mTOR pathway we talked about, it tells the pancreas to chill out on making digestive enzymes, which can help reduce inflammation and might even prevent the formation of scar tissue. And the potential doesn't stop there. It even stretches into the world of oncology. Researchers are looking at how fasting could be used as a strategic tool to actually weaken cancer cells, making them more vulnerable to treatments like chemotherapy, while at the same time helping to protect our healthy cells. Now, I know this is a lot of data, but the takeaway here is really compelling, even though it's all very early. Research in mice shows it can slow down cancer progression. Early trials in humans show it's safe. And get this, one clinical trial reported what they called an exceptional response, a complete and long-lasting remission in a patient with pancreatic cancer who combined the diet with chemo. It's just one person, but wow.
Okay, with all of this incredible, exciting science, we absolutely have to hit pause and talk about the reality check. The precautions here are not just important, they are critical.
First things first, while the human cell studies are super exciting, those mind-blowing regeneration results, they were in mice. We need large-scale human clinical trials to really know if these effects will translate to people, and that just takes time. All right, and this is probably the single most important thing you need to hear today. Please listen carefully. Trying to experiment with this on your own, especially if you are on diabetes medication like insulin, is extremely dangerous. Fasting can make your body much more sensitive to insulin, so a dose that's normally safe for you could suddenly cause a catastrophic drop in your blood sugar. That's a condition called hypoglycemic shock, and it can be fatal. Any fasting for any medical condition must be done under strict medical supervision, period. And that brings us right back to where we started, with this huge question about the future. This research has kicked open a door that many people thought was locked forever. It points to a future where we might not just manage chronic diseases, but actually reverse them by harnessing the body's own amazing built-in programs for regeneration and repair. The question is no longer if this is possible, but maybe how soon.